record the spoken word introduction.
Still?
Yep. It's only a few lines, but I'm having anxiety about it.
Oh yeah, let me hear it.
And the record begins with a song of rebellion.
That's it?
You want to know the timelessness of life, the boundless nature of what this is, then you need to be little bit set on fire. Simply very nice logic or pretty emotions won't do it. They're nice, they organize your life. They make your life clean and acceptable. But it doesn't magnify the possibility of moving from a limited state of ignorance to an unlimited state of ignorance. Today, modern scientists are coming to this point. All these years they believed, someday we will know what is the nature of the existence. Today, lot of top-level physicists are coming to this point where they're beginning to talk in terms of we will never know. We will just go on expanding the borders of our ignorance, but we will never know. This is what mysticism meant. This is what a mystic means, an utterly ignorant person. Everybody else is little bit ignorant, little bit knowledgeable. They know some things, they don't know some things. Someone who doesn't know anything at all, who is not burdened by knowledge, because knowledge is an accumulation. Someone who is simply not burdened by any kind of accumulation, he is a mystic because he's chosen to be utterly, absolutely ignorant, not in parts. Moving from a wristwatch to a grandfather clock is not a comfortable thing. Not at all comfortable. If you're carrying a grandfather clock on your back, it may have great value, but you can't even look at the time. You have to ask somebody, please look at the time and tell me what's the time. Aren't you slowly becoming like this these days? How am I? I hear a lot of people coming up to me and ask me, Sadhguru, how am I? It's all right. Sensible people ask, how are you? Those who are becoming slowly moving towards larger dimensions of ignorance are beginning to ask Sadhguru, how am I? If you have any value for this life and this creation, then the time has definitely come that we must look at life with its ultimate perspective. Otherwise, maybe there is time. Of course, there's a whole eternity ahead of you, there's really no hurry. If the longing arises, the longing genuinely arises in you, really, when your heart cries, wanting to know, when you know the pain of ignorance, when you really know the pain of ignorance, then a master arises. You don't have to look for him, because if your longing to know has really picked up a certain intensity within you, if the pain of ignorance has really, really gone deep into you, then he will anyway happen.
Alright, hello YouTube. A lot of people have been working with the demon Lucifuge, and EA Coetting has been putting out a lot of videos about him on his channel, and while watching those and a few others, I got a few channeled messages I figured I'd share, along with a few other things I was guided to share. So let's get started. First thing I have here is a quote from, I think Subramanya Swami's guru, from the Guru Chronicles audiobook, and you can find that for free online. And what it says is, throw out all your books. It is all within you. And then what I have here, it says, flee the light. Where have you not been? Embrace and tune to your ignorance. It is an infinite source of direction and growth. Plunge into your root poisons and bleed them out by force of self and consistency. Let what may die, die. Shed the ineffective shell. Escape your own boxes and machinations. The necrotic flesh of the past was dead already. Let the leaves fall. Let the void press upon your raw exposed body. Learn all from none. Go beyond subtlety. Feel what is not. Feel what cannot be taken, what naturally fills. Feel yourself from beyond all that is. Pull your divine heritage into your bones. Let the fullness of yourself pour into yourself, your body, your mind, your aura, your world. Hear your resonance from beyond a body, beyond even this life, any specific life, and build on nothing else. You are already there. Embrace your dreams as your true self, and begin to allow reality to align with the possibilities you failed to recognize or believe. Let the gold rise and let the lead sink. It is a natural and innate process when you have a grip on the true self. Darkness and light are a natural, unhindered dance of balance. Step into your place. Partake of Plato's cave from your fullness, your empowered discernment. There is nowhere without abundance, no lack of truth, even in illusions. You are not separate, and all is within you. The minor focus and stillness required is dwarfed by your lack of faith in yourself. And I should have a few relevant links down in the description as well. And the next thing I was guided to share was a little bit of understanding of dimensionality in the different dimensions. And this example is from the book A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And in that book they use the example of what is the shortest distance between 2 points, which in normal linear geometry would be a line from point to point. But what they say is the actual shortest point, which they describe as the 4th dimension or a tesseract, is to fold the paper and have these 2 points meet immediately next to each other. And I'm not sure if that's a perfect understanding of the 4th dimension or dimensionality, but I think if you expand on that a little bit, you can also see how this point is also this point back here and this point when it connects. And one of the messages of Cryon explained how once you get out of linearity into multidimensionality, it's not the 4th or 5th dimension, it's all dimensions. And the final thing I'd like to share has to do with this posture, what is generally considered a meditation posture, and the siddhi or power associated with accomplishments with this posture. What's known to the Hindu system is that when you attain stability and balance with this posture, you attain the ability to know anything that can be known. And this is just another example of the innate power of aligning yourself and building that comfort with your own body. So especially for beginners, I would highly recommend putting this kind of posture into practice and attempting to reach that stability, because a lot of people have a good deal of questions that they could find if they were equipped properly for searching within themselves. And that's all for now. Thank you guys. And feel free to subscribe if you want more of this kind of content.
Spirituality essentially means that you have strived to make your experience of life beyond the realm of the physical. For you, what is beyond the physical is a living experience, it's not a belief. When you're in pursuit of this, your condition is this, that you're a seeker, you're not a believer. Because belief essentially means you have concretized your assumptions about life and beyond. Seeking means you have realized that you do not know. I do not know is a tremendous possibility. Only when you see I do not know, the possibility of knowing becomes a living reality for you. Seeking, longing, wanting to know, this becomes a possibility. So spirituality essentially means either you have reached a place where your experience of life is beyond your physical nature, you're able to touch that which is beyond physical, or you're in a state where you're seeking. That means you have admitted your ignorance about the nature of this existence and your own existence.
Do you believe that sometimes we need
I said I don't…
quest?
I said I'm not for belief.
Well, in a manner people will…
No, I know, it's become so much a part of our daily language, I believe this, I believe that, then I believe other things, everything. So I am trying to banish the word belief. What you know, you know. What you do not know, you do not know. What's the problem with this? What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. It's wonderful and human of us to see what we do not know as we do not know. Unless we see that, we will never strive to know. So, when it comes to this, about people not admitting their ignorance, because I think it is the nature of education, it is the way we've been conducting lots of things, where ignorance is considered a bad thing. Ignorance is a borderless thing, okay? Ignorance is a borderless reality. What you are yet to know is a limitless possibility. What you know is a tiny little thing. So you are identifying with the tiny little thing that you know, and you're ignoring an immense possibility which you do not know. A constant admittance that I do not know so much about this existence is what makes you into an active, open intelligence. Otherwise, you will become… there are words which I don't want to use.
99% of the cosmos is unmanifest. But today, modern physicists are saying this unmanifest dimension of the existence is tremendously powerful. Here in this culture, in the yogic culture, we always refer to this as kala. There are two aspects. In India, in this culture, we don't have two separate words for time and space. Time is also kala, space is also kala. Kala means darkness, darkness means space. So you must understand this. In your experience of life right now, because of the nature of the visual apparatus you have, you can only see that which stops light. You can see this hand because it is stopping light. Something so vital as air, generally you cannot see it because it doesn't stop light, unless you happen to be in Delhi, of course. So all that dimension that you cannot see is dark for you. So that dimension of space is referred to as kala, and time also is kala. Here we are seeing, within our experience, we see time is the basis of space. In the sense, only because there is time, point A and point B are possible. Generally, logical thinking would be, because there is a distance, there is time. No, because there is time, distance is possible, space is possible. So we don't have two words for this. Kala means time, kala means space.
Everything is in your memory, isn't it so? Including your God and devil, all in your memory, yes or no? If you lose memory, you don't know anything. So memory is a tremendous possibility. At the same time, it is a boundary. It's a certain knowledge that you've accumulated, information that you've accumulated. So in yoga, we have a very powerful tool. It'll be a little hard for you to chew. See, your knowledge. You are well educated. Let us say you studied all the libraries on the planet. Still, your knowledge is a minuscule compared to this cosmos, isn't it so? If you identify with that minuscule of knowledge, you will become a minuscule, because what you identify with, you become that in some way, isn't it? Whatever you identify with strongly, you become that. If you identify with your minuscule knowledge, you become a minuscule existence. But our ignorance is boundless. If you identify with your ignorance, you will become boundless, because there are no borders for your ignorance. Your knowledge has a boundary. Your ignorance has no boundary, isn't it? But it takes a certain amount of dispassion and involvement in the life that you are to come to this space where you identify with your ignorance. If you identify with your ignorance, your intelligence cannot sleep. It will be always on. See, right now if I ask any one of you to walk from here to there, you will effortlessly walk, because you can see. Suppose we turn off the lights and it's pitch dark. Now if I ask you to walk, now you're super alert, isn't it? Hello? You're super alert. It's pitch dark, you don't know where your foot is going. Super alert or no? This is what ignorance means. This is the power, or this is the intelligence of ignorance. That if you identify with your ignorance, your intelligence cannot sleep. Even if your body sleeps, it cannot sleep, it's always on. But if you identify with your knowledge, it sleeps, because knowledge is a kind of conclusion you have drawn. Once you draw a conclusion, you will sleep. Sleep is a shorter version of death, isn't it, in a way? Hello? You're dead to the world. Well, you come back tomorrow morning, but at that point you don't exist, the world doesn't exist when you're fast asleep. So, in a way, you're dying. How long you die in a day is up to you. If you're dying 8 hours a day, that means 1/3 of your life you've been dead. So, if your intelligence becomes super alert, you will see, first thing that will happen to you is your sleep quota will come down dramatically. Because you become more and more conscious, because you're identified with your ignorance. If you understand, I do not know, if you really, it sinks into you that I do not know, now, this is a tremendous possibility. Only if you see I do not know, the longing to know, the seeking to know, and the possibility of knowing becomes a reality, isn't it? But when it comes to the inner dimensions, all of us are equally capable. It is just that most people have never paid attention. They still believe that by fixing what's around them, life will be fine. Can you claim, are you more joyful or more blissful than how people were 100 years ago? Can you? You're more comfortable for sure. You know conveniences that nobody knew. What even royalty could not afford. All of you are having, most of you are driving chariots with 400, 600 horses. Yes or no? But life has not changed, you must understand. It doesn't matter how much arrangements you make.